we go through the injuries first? Can you give us some sort of update on Zay?
Well, probably the two key ones, yeah. So Xavier with a lateral ligament to his knee. So without really getting too caught up in the week, so he'll have surgery. Both the boys, Xavier and Butsy, will have surgery in the next 24 hours. So we'll know a lot more then. But I think everyone will speculate about time, but I really don't want to put a number on either of these two kids. So I think they can hear it firsthand from the surgeon, and then we'll just go from there. Yeah, so he's a syndesmosis injury, so he'll have surgery on that as well. So I think that surgery will take place tonight. And again, I think we should afford these guys the luxury of at least talking to the surgeon, hearing the severity, and then the plan off the back of that, rather than me, a footy coach, trying to speculate.
Anyone else sort of in trouble or rising?
Well, I think we've got 3 or 4 guys that are probably going to need the entire week, but I think they'll all be okay. So we'd expect Todd to be okay. We think Orazio will be right. Tom Cleary was another one with a cork. So there's a little bit going on, but I think you'd all appreciate it was a pretty brutal game. Great teams playing a great brand of footy.
Connor was the other one that had to get some treatment. Is he in that same boat?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll take every day of the week to get right. Another corky. Incredible resilience to get through. I think we probably could have pulled him out of the game maybe a handful of times, and that wouldn't have served us too well if we took him out too early. So it was great to see him stay in and contribute.
I guess you've spoken about the squad mentality. You won squad 27. It's going to be kind of really tested now with those injuries.
Yeah, I think the approach at the start of the year was a really positive one around that squad mentality and how to keep a greater, deeper squad engaged for longer. Back to the full complement of rounds is also important, that the grind is back on. We think we're going to need those numbers, and as it forecast, it's come true pretty quickly. So we've got some guys that have been crying out for an opportunity, so let's wait and see what they've got.
And obviously, fair to say they'll be pretty long-term tours, like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, they're multiple weeks, so the people that do become lucky enough to get those opportunities probably get a fair look at it too, rather than just a week in, week out sort of mentality. So some opportunity to find their feet.
And who are some of those guys that might, crying out, might get the opportunity for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, I guess at the risk of missing a couple, we've had Kane Farrell have a reasonable crack at AFL footy. I'd expect he'd be in the frame again. I think Sam Mays has been incredibly unlucky for a long period of time, and then you saw that we were keen to get Miles Bergman up and going in the senior team pretty quickly, and he hasn't really disappointed either. So, but we got some guys outside of that. Maybe someone who's put 4 or 5 really good weeks together, like a Marty Frederick, might get a go. So these times are really exciting. Yes, they're disappointing for the guys going out, but as a club and a coaching group, we get quite excited by what might play out.
Sam Mays seeing an opportunity. Would be an opportunity to go with Lysa, or was it almost need Lysa to go down? You played 2 ruckmen, including
Laddams.
Sorry, Sam Hayes.
Sam Hayes. Well, we'd have to look at the balance of that and whether we think we need to. And I think you've seen with our lineup where we've explored quite a taller forward line, which complements 2 rucks. So the only thing Sam can do is play the way he's playing now. He's had some dominant ruck displays. He's been getting around the ground a lot better and taking marks. So the fact that you're bringing him up right now shows that he's developing, which is great.
Do you expect the rucklift to be right for this week after the concussion?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a great improvement for the game, the protocols that we now run with. But to be honest, in his own mind, he thought he would have been right to play. So I think taking that out of the players' hands, and the coach's hands for that matter, is a really positive thing.
And Brent, just on the replacements, I'm sure it's going to come up in the committee, but to go with that youth, so many young players, Dominic Dorme, Woolcock, are impressive on the weekend, or do you go that more?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a really, really interesting week around discussion. How many's too many? We're exciting and youthful already, as you've mentioned, and we have guys, as I mentioned, Sam Mays, but we have Jared Leonard as well, Joel Garner, guys that have been here and spent some time in the system that we know we can rely on if we need be. So yeah, that balance discussion will come up.
Once you sent that Pepper, was that a change a year ago? How far is he off from actually?
So AFL footy won't be on the table for him this week, but SANFL will. So we get a look to see where he's at. Obviously, when you step away, you do lose some type of condition. Hopefully, it's not too much. And being a seasoned, mature player, it shouldn't be a significant drop off. But let's get him back around the boys and in the sample team and see where we go.
As the defensive coach, how did you think Lobby Jones went to his first day of the game?
Oh, we were thrilled. I was thrilled. What a birthday for him. I think he just suited the way he goes about his footy and the way he attacks the game suited that occasion. It was some grunt that we needed. I think both teams would acknowledge they've both got another gear to go in terms of polish and system, but in terms of grunt and hunt and contest, I think the game had it all, and he was up for it.
Have you seen the crowd get behind that game as quickly as hell? I mean, every time he got the ball.
Yeah, it was pretty evident, wasn't it, that they were pretty keen on the selection and what he brings. So yeah, it's great for our people. Could do. Yeah, if he's not already, he will.
Coach's perspective, how pleasing was that in terms of response from West Coast?
You're always a little concerned what the next, I guess, what your next opportunity looks like. So, and I think they were obviously in the same boat. They played a team that just moved the ball far too easily against them in Sydney, and we had exactly the same situation over in Perth. So we wanted to get back to what it is that we do well. It was the perfect opportunity, to be honest, to come up against Richmond, and what a game. I think at least our last three have looked really, really similar. If you come for the contest, you generally get a pretty positive result. I think both teams had that.
What do you do? Very concerned about Dixon at the moment. He hasn't really hit the scoreboard as much as he has in the past. How's the guy that, making sure that he's able to contribute in that area?
Yeah, I think he'd be the first one to stand here and say he's not hitting the heights so far this year. We're only in a really early stage. We're still kicking big scores. I think the competition scoring's up, and you're certainly finding other ways to score other than just going to your big tall target. So I think he's found the going tough for sure, but he's also had an enormous amount of attention. So he'll work his way through it.
Can I just ask you one completely bit of a sidestep? Mid-season draft, Kate Simpson is looking at nominating for the mid-season draft.
Is he?
He's still got a bit left in the tank. What does it do for players, perhaps that want to come back and have a look at AFL later on?
Yeah, I think for the player, there's obviously some huge upside for the players. And I guess when I put my club and coach's hat on, it can sort of rip the life out of a club at another level too. You put a lot of work and time and effort into either getting them to your club, putting some effort into integrating them into your system, and then all of a sudden mid-year they come away. So I'm not so sure, to be honest.
Does it give them another perhaps opportunity where they think they can still add something of value to the AFL?
No doubt, and then that's the discussion on balance, isn't it? Players hat versus the club that's taken the time to recruit them if they found their way there.
Would Adelaide look at Kate?
I think it'd be unlikely. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
All right.